Hey everyone, welcome to the show, My So-Called Fabulous. I'm Tiffany. It is so good to talk to you today. And guess what? It is the end of season 6, number 175. And every time I say that number, I can't believe it because for almost 4 years now, we have been bringing to you My So-Called Fabulous every Tuesday just to share, to educate, and to make a difference. And that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm so excited to bring the show to you today. So at the end and the beginning, but the end especially of every season, the last episode that I do, I like to just kind of wrap up the season, kind of catch you up to speed, remind you of shows that we've had, because I know it's difficult with everyone's busy life to keep on track of things. But those of you that are listening, I am so appreciative. We are at over 50,000 downloads, and I'm just so proud, and we're growing and growing and growing, but more about that later. So I have had the pleasure this season that we started in September of 2023 through the end, December. We're at the very tail end of December on this day recording, that we have brought you this season 12 fabulous guests. 12 professionals, 12 people that share their story in hopes to, again, make a difference. Like I have, the reason I started this platform, the social media side, the podcast side, to make a difference. And I'm so blessed to have met people that are making a huge difference in Fort Worth and around the entire world. So 12 guests. I'm going to go through that with you in just a bit at the end, but I thought I'd just catch you up a little bit. 2023 has been quite the year for myself and my family. It's been a great year of growth, a great year of meeting people, talking to you. It is so exciting. I know some people are like, social media, negative. And I know that there can be negative. I do. There's always it can be that. But it's been such a positive. It's my business. And but I get to talk and meet with people literally all over the world, and talk with you and message each other. And, you know, some of the people that I've talked to, April in New York, another influencer, I feel like we're friends. We talk almost every day. I've never met her, but I hope to get to New York someday, or her to come to Cowtown and meet me. But, you know, just to make a difference, to push and to support each other, men and women, we're doing that. But, you know, this year kind of started in January. You know, every year we kick off the year and say, oh, you know, what do you want to do this year? What do you want to accomplish? And my year for 2023 was health, because I've had a long road, not for 12, 13 years, total declining with my health. And I consider myself an incredibly healthy person, take care of my body. And, you know, I say it all the time on this show. You have one body, take care of it. That is our duty. That is our job. Take care of it. I mean, you don't get another. You don't get a gimme. So it was my year to really dig deep and advocate for myself through my health, my resources, through functional medicine, Western medicine as well, and different people on the show, different guests, to figure out what the heck was wrong with me. In 2011, I've told this story. We go back to episodes. We just finished the 2 previous weeks, episode number 173, 174, and then I talked to you earlier in the month. I talked to you more about diagnosing and how this happened, but breast implant illness, and it is confirmed. Yes, I am dealing with that. So in January, I just started all of the things, because in the year of 2023, I added 2 more autoimmune diseases to my resume. Already had psoriasis that started in 2020, and added some colitis, which I was wondering why in the world for 4 years. For 4 years, I've had severe GI issues, severe. So much that it's so bad. This year, we were at TCU Horned Frogs. We're in the national championship. That is when I really saw a huge amount of a big weight loss. I lost about 15 pounds before I had surgery about 6 weeks ago. And I couldn't hold any nutrients in my body. So colitis. And then here we go with some random type of arthritis. So joint pain and GI was 2 big things. So I'm like, what is wrong with me? You know, taking biologics, doctors try to help me with, taking pain medicine. I was just pushing pharma on my body, and it wasn't working. And I was getting sicker. So my friend Stacy Danford, that's been on my show multiple times, bless her heart, neuroscientist here in Fort Worth that I just love, a dear friend, she was on the show and she was sharing with me that she had had surgery. And I'm like, what happened? She explained to me she had had her breast explanted, so breast explant, and she was a new woman. Migraines were gone, headaches were gone, same thing, joint pain, brain fog. And she said, you might want to look into this. This may be you too. So in 2011, I had my implants, and I've talked about this and never really cared for them, but they're gone now. Let me tell you, they are gone. But started exploring, found a surgeon locally, found a couple, and honestly, I really want you to take the opportunity if you can, and there's a few people I want you to follow. I'll share in this show, but on my Instagram page, you can go to my highlights tab, and there's 2 highlights, BII and BII Part 2, and I'm just continuing to add more and more to that, because what I found after making the decision to have surgery, I couldn't find a network of people to actually have a conversation with. I could read about it, I could go to chat rooms or whatever, but I just couldn't actually find a person to talk to about this. So I find the surgeon, didn't work out, and you can go back to my episodes and I talk about that. Didn't work out, and then my angel, my absolute angel in my life, Ashley Bartlett, that works with us at My So-Called Fabulous, forwarded me a podcast with the Skinny Confidential. She had Dr. Robert Whitfield on there. And when I listened to this, y'all, I was like, okay, this man is onto something. And there was so much more about breast implants that I had even known. So I'm spending the entire weekend. I go research, I go down all these rabbit holes and find out that there's just so much more to it than the surgeons that I was interviewing were doing. So I didn't know anything, to be quite frank, other than they were coming out and they were making me sick. I found Dr. Robert Whitfield in Austin, and within about 6 months, I was able to have the surgery. November 9th of this year, I had the surgery. It was a prep. Those of you that are reaching out that are saying, I want the surgery now, I need it now, make sure you know your surgeon. If you go back to episode number 174 with Candace Barley, she's a patient advocate with Dr. Robert Whitfield. She talks about how to choose a surgeon. Now, he's in Austin, and he sees people from all over the world, but sometimes that's not financially feasible for people. You can't travel, you have jobs and so on and so forth, families. He and that group can help you find the right person. And that's so important, because I had so many things happen that now I'm I'm an advocate for this, for doing it the right way. So I had my surgery. We prep for weeks because I had to do testing to see. I did find out I have toxic mold poisoning. I have heavy metal poisoning. I have severe GI issues with all kind of flora and candida buildup and leaky gut, which I knew, and then, colitis. And I knew all these things, but going into surgery to prepare me for that, there was a protocol that Patricia, Dr. Whitfield's nurse practitioner that specializes in gut, was so fabulous getting me prepped for surgery. Getting prepped for surgery is not just making sure your work schedule is on point, your pajamas are on point, your food is prepped, but to actually know what's going on. I can say without a doubt, I knew what was happening. I knew what was going on. So I'll go to Austin, have the surgery. I was there a week recovering. Their protocol after surgery was amazing. So all of this is the night before surgery. I just decided, you know what, I'm going to put this all out here. I'm very transparent. I mean, listen to my podcast. I tell you everything, literally everything. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to put this out there for the world. And so about 7:00 at night, I get on my stories and start talking about what's going on. And my direct messages exploded. I mean, it was an explosion of women from all over the world. Bayron, I hope I'm saying that correctly, Susie. Susie from Bahrain reached out to me through voice text. I was up till 2 a.m. Central Time talking with her. She has gone through the same thing. She has very similar symptoms and talked me through this. I felt relief. I felt comfort. Immediately, people asking me my symptoms, some people that have gone through the surgery and some that have not yet. It was absolutely amazing. It brings me back because my husband always says, Tiffy, you're getting to do what you wanted to do in the first place. People are like, why are you working? You don't have to work. Why are you doing this? Why are you working so hard? First of all, I'm not finished. I told you that. I'm not that old. And you can work until the day you die, obviously. But I told Greg when I started this, I want to make a difference. I just want to make a difference somehow, some way in the world. And if it's influencing, yes, I can bring you the daily deals from Amazon. I can tell you where to shop, where to go eat, what books to purchase, whatever. So that means a lot. And I know that's a resource, but I wanted to make a difference in health and wellness and to solve problems. I don't know if I can solve this problem, but I can certainly help. I'm telling you, hundreds of you have reached out and sharing. I have a little network of in the morning, I wake up and we're all chatting. We are chatting separately about how we're feeling that day post-explant surgery, how we're feeling going into a surgery. Madison, you went into surgery it'll be last week now with Dr. Whitfield, and I'm so proud of you. I met you the same way when I had my week of my surgery. We've been friends ever since, and I've never met you face to face, but you've gone through the surgery, and I'm so proud of you, and it's scary for many, many reasons. But again, this network has been unbelievable. I hope that if you're listening to this, you don't have the issues that I have and so many women have. I'm hoping you don't. I'm hoping you can share this with people that need information. Share this podcast and my platform, of course. But share this. I also want you to know, y'all, I have always said this. I am not a medical professional. I'm not healthcare. I'm not in healthcare. You don't want me in healthcare. But I just want you to know that this didn't work out for me. Am I against this? I would, if with someone I love, I would really talk to them. But when you have your mind wrapped around, I want boobs, you want boobs. But I wish I would have known in 2011 what I know now. But would I have listened seriously 11 to 13 years ago, however long it was, 12 years ago? I think about that often. Would I have really listened? Because this me is so much more mature than I was then. And all I wanted was to look like the competitors when I was competing in competitions. I thought that would get me an edge. It got me sick. And people do ask me from time to time, how do you know that are you sure this is what it is? And I say to them, I had my breast explants on November 9th. And did I feel better immediately? No, I didn't. I really didn't. I wanted to be one of those women that just woke up and felt better, but I didn't. And I was very nervous. And my sister, Jill, which is a fabulous nurse practitioner with her own business that I'm going to get on this show, I was just like, oh my gosh, it didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work. And I was just so nervous. But, you remember you're going through, you had anesthesia, you have painkillers, medications that you're not used to taking. And I'm a clean person. And I really do not try to take much of any of that. And so you're just in that funk, and it didn't work well for me. But then I started feeling better. Y'all, we would go out to dinner or go somewhere with friends or just Greg and I or my daughter and I. And I would get to dinner, and about a third of the way through, I was like, I've got to go. I need an Uber. I just don't feel well. I, feel my GI system. I feel lethargic, tired. I just feel horrible. And that was probably about 2 months leading up to my surgery. I'd go work out in the morning because I'm sorry, I'm going to keep working out. And again, I've had people say, why would you keep working out if you feel so horribly? Well, I felt like crap with it or without it. So I would go work out with Sam or with in Pilates, and I would go upstairs or I'd come home and I would just lie on the floor and just lay there. I just felt so bad. I'm like, how in the world? What is wrong with me? This is not who I am. And I'd also want you to know what you see on Instagram isn't my daily life. Now, I do put in my stories pretty much my daily life, but the beautiful pictures or the half so pretty pictures or not so beautiful pictures are not daily life because I was just living this life going, God, what is wrong with me? So anyway, I do feel better. We can go to dinner. I can go out. I can come to this podcast studio and not just be so down and out and have a positive attitude. So yes, that has changed. I feel like a new woman. The GI, we're working on it. I just talked to Krista today, actually. And we have a plan. We have a huge plan, detoxing for sure, cleaning up my gut. My goodness. And just because I had my toxins taken out of my body through my implants doesn't mean I'm finished. You still have work to do. Some of us don't. You're fine. But I've got to clean up my gut. And that takes a long time. Krista was telling me up to 6 months. And I'm like, what? But it didn't happen overnight. So how do I expect it to happen in a week, right? So that's a protocol, and we're going to start that in January. I'm excited. I wish I didn't have to do that, but I do. But I am so excited because at the end of next season, we're going to see what changes I've made. I can't wait to listen to this podcast and compare it to next season at the end of June to see how things are going. So, a lot of work to do for me personally. And that is not all of us at all when we're dealing with explant. Back to the point making, I'm not a medical professional. Implants did not work out for me, but I know so many women that have not had one issue, and I am so happy for them, and I think that is fabulous. So, we're all different. Each body is absolutely different. We all react to toxins, burdens, foreign objects in our body differently. So I'm just happy that I can be myself again, and I'm on the road to wellness. So, y'all, there is that update. So please keep your questions coming. I'm going to keep sharing. I share products on my Amazon storefront about, preparing for surgery, after surgery. And we're going to keep that going because, I'm 6 weeks at this point post-surgery, and just it changes daily, I mean, people also ask me, I can't believe you're not in a compression bra. Well, that's not my doctor didn't have me do that, but your doctor may be different, much different than mine. So follow your doctor's advice and make sure you have a good surgeon on that. My journey has been a journey of a year of work. Has been tough because I haven't felt great. I have an incredible group of women that work with me. My daughter Kennedy is my social media manager, and she's my marketing manager. She wears many, many hats. I have fabulous Ashley Bartlett that works both sides, our personal side and on the so fabulous side. Laura Katner is dealing with all of the money and the finances, which they certainly don't want me in. Dakota Hart has been with us. Dakota Hart. I called her previous name. Sorry, Dakota. I am so sorry. Dakota Kearns helps my daughter Kennedy on the marketing side and the social side. And Valerie Reiner is such a great creative force. AD Media is amazing. Audrey and her entire team has been amazing. And then RNC and Chris is in the studio with me from week to week and helps me produce and brings you the best product that he can do when dealing with me. There we go, bringing the best podcast. So all of these people have stood by me during this journey, and I couldn't do it without them. I really couldn't. It really does take a team and takes a village for so many things. When I talked to you about the podcast for the season, we started in, when did we start? September 5th. And we're going through the end of December. I go in 4-month blocks. I take 2 months off to regroup, find new guests, see what's trending, see what you want, because I love hearing from you. Allergies are so bad in Texas right now. Excuse me. what you want to hear. And I love, we put out a poll on our stories asking what you'd like. I really felt like this year was a year of health because that's forefront in my thought process. But we kicked off with Shane Morrissey and a beautiful podcast talking about interiors, a passion for interior design. So it hits one of the pillars that I have: fashion, beauty, wellness, interiors, fitness, and culinary. We had Tracy Walder on, The Unexpected Spy. We talked about school safety and true crime, of all things. And I don't listen to true crime. I really don't. But it was so fascinating talking to her. Jim Henster came back again this year. We talked about autoimmune disease, which is so necessary, and traumatic brain injury. Amazing. He has Las Colinas Pharmacy, and he was a wonderful, wonderful guest. And I just love having him on. A wealth of information. Dr. Julie Kennedy, we talked about gut health, and I was soaking in every word of her podcast, listening to her, what we should and should not be doing. It's amazing how much we're hearing about gut health. Alzheimer's Association, Deandra Simmons, one of the Dallas Housewives, was on. I did 3 or 4 solos. We talked about Adoption Month with Les Nelson as the adoptee, the adult adoptee now, and adopted parents, my precious friends Nadia and Jacqueline with their 2 beautiful adopted children. Dr. Carolyn Moyers, we talked about birth control. Kelly Lancart, boy, y'all love to hear that one. She talked about divorce and the holidays. And then, like I just said, Candace Barley with Dr. Whitfield's office, we talked about breast implant illness part 1 and breast implant illness part 2. These 2 things. And I'm wrapping up today. But I do want to talk about growth. How I've grown as a human. I've become more compassionate, more tolerant. I've learned to slow down a little bit. And really, you hear so many people, and I kind of poo-pooed it. I really did. To be positive, to have a positive mindset when I was so negative, just so incredibly negative. And to find that mindset, to be positive, to meditate, and to give that clarity, and to try to take away that brain fog. And it's been a tough year trying to do that. I say that because I just shared last week on the podcast, when I went to Dr. Whitfield, he told me exactly what he was doing and how he was going to do my explant. And I think all I wanted to hear was I was going to feel better, how I was going to look, because I am vain, which I look fine. But he also talked about, he takes a biopsy of both breasts. And I thought, oh, well, that's nice. I mean, what would I do with that? Who cares, right? And he said, because there could be cancer. So I didn't, again, think, I knew that I would have mold and I would have infection, and he handles that in his protocol during surgery. But I got on the phone, oh gosh, it was probably 3 weeks at post-explant, and I was going over my pathology and my labs and how I was feeling with Patricia with Dr. Whitfield's office, and she's reading through my pathology, and she said, "Are you reading this?" Because she had seen it for the first time as well. I said, no, I didn't have the document in front of me. And so my right breast capsule biopsy has carcinoma. And it came back inconclusive carcinoma. And the words carcinoma, couldn't get past that. I couldn't get past ductal, lymphatic. I couldn't understand these pathology reports that I don't know how to read. So she calls Dr. Whitfield. He calls me later that evening. We go through it. He is brilliant, y'all. I just don't have that medical mind. And I still, to this day, I recorded that conversation and I don't know what he said because it was such a shock. And I'm thinking the worst, for sure. My mind is spiraling, and I'm trying to remember what my sister said, and my doctors have said, and my friends and people on this podcast. Keep positive, think positive. So we did talk. Candace with Dr. Whitfield's office said, you know what? This is the silver lining. We have caught this so soon. This is so soon. We took the capsule out. A lot of doctors don't take that capsule out, y'all. I have had multiple mammograms. I do this once a year ever since I was 40. I'm 58. 18 mammograms in, and they didn't see this. Now, I'm not smart enough in the medical world, but from what I'm gathering, they didn't see it because I had implants. I wouldn't have had a biopsy, and I didn't have a lump. I do the self-exam. I sit here and talk to you and look into this camera and think, I just can't believe it. So here we go. We go into, Dr. Leanne Scott, that is such an incredible practitioner for my health and my husband and my daughter's health. I talked to her and she says, you know what? Let's find an oncologist. Lo and behold, her husband is an oncologist that deals with breast cancer. And she talks to him. I start out, I get BRCA. I think it's a BRCA test and genetic testing. So I went last week, which will be 2 weeks ago now, and I had those tests for genetics. Takes 2 weeks to find out, so I should find out at any point. And I have an MRI. The day of this recording, I have the MRI tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. in Irving. And I am scared. I'm scared. I just have to say, I'm trying to find that positive, but I'm scared. But I just want you all to know, and I'm trying to keep my act together here. I want you all to know that I'm going to keep sharing this because I would have known this if he wouldn't have taken the biopsies. I wouldn't have known this without the explants. I wouldn't have known this without going through this journey and talking to the amazing guests and listening to podcasts from all over the world about this. So wish me luck on this show. I don't know. It's just something I wasn't expecting. But, there's a reason. There is an absolute reason. So that's what 2024 has brought me. Do I feel blessed? You better know it. I feel incredibly blessed. When I talk to you in March, I'm going to have more information, and you can follow along on my Instagram for sure. But keep listening. Keep watching. I cannot thank you enough for all you've done for the 4 years that we've done this almost. All of you, I just want to have a big party, and you're all my friends, and you're just fabulous. So we will be back. We'll be back on March 5th of 2024. That's a Tuesday. We will have a podcast for you when you wake up in the morning. And we'll go through June 25th of that year, and we're going to have 17 shows. And again, let me know what you want to hear. All I can say is thank you. Thank you for standing there with me, and thank you for all reaching out and making me feel like I'm doing my job. Everyone have a wonderful day, a happy new year. Bring in 2024, and let's get that done for sure. And everyone, keep being fabulous.